You are sitting at a red light in heavy traffic when you see it. Your temperature gauge is climbing into the red zone, and a faint smell of sweet syrup begins to drift through the vents. You pull over, pop the hood, and look at the plastic reservoir. It is perfectly full, right at the maximum line, yet your engine is literally cooking itself to death from the inside out. Most mechanics will see that red needle and immediately quote you $3,000 for a blown head gasket. They are banking on the fact that you do not know the secret behind the full tank lie. In this industry, we see this every single day. A driver thinks they are safe because the tank is full, while their engine is actually starving for flow. Today, I am pulling back the curtain on why your rolling supercomputer is lying to you. We are going to expose the hidden vampires in your cooling system that are designed to fail silently. If you want to stop being a mere operator and become a true master of your vehicle, you need to understand how these systems actually work. This knowledge will save you thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs and keep your car on the road for the next decade. Before we dive into the science of why your car is melting down, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to support practical, no-nonsense advice that looks out for your wallet instead of the dealership's bottom line. Let's start with number 1, the core misconception of the full tank versus the full loop. This is the foundation of the trap that most drivers fall into. When you look at that plastic tank under your hood, you aren't looking at your engine's actual cooling capacity. In almost every car built in the last 20 years, that is simply an expansion or overflow reservoir. Think of it as a buffer or a waiting room for the actual cooling system. You can have a reservoir filled to the brim while the actual engine block and radiator are bone dry or airlocked. Cooling is not just about having liquid. It is a thermodynamic process that requires constant movement and heat exchange. If that liquid isn't moving through the pressurized loop, it is as useless as a glass of water sitting on a table in a fire. I've seen dozens of drivers ignore a rising temperature gauge because they checked the tank and thought they were fine. By the time they realized the truth, their cylinder heads were warped beyond repair. Now, let's move to number 2, the stuck thermostat. This is the most common mechanical silent killer I see in my shop. The thermostat is a small, precision valve that acts as a gatekeeper for your engine's heat. It stays closed when the engine is cold to help it warm up, and it is supposed to open once things get hot. If that valve sticks shut, the coolant is trapped inside the engine block. It never reaches the radiator, which means it never has a chance to release its heat to the outside air. Here is a pro tip you can do right now to diagnose this. If your engine is overheating but the lower radiator hose feels cold to the touch, your thermostat is likely the culprit. The coolant is sitting there, boiling in the block, while the radiator sits there doing absolutely nothing. It is a simple $40 part that can cause an $8,000 failure if you don't catch it. Number 3 is the plastic betrayal, also known as water pump impeller failure. This is a classic example of modern engineering prioritized over long-term reliability. In the old days, water pumps had metal blades that lasted forever. Today, many manufacturers use plastic impellers that are pressed onto a metal shaft. Over time, that plastic becomes brittle or simply loses its grip. The shaft spins perfectly, so you don't hear any squealing or see any leaks, but the blades aren't moving any fluid. It is like a boat engine where the propeller has fallen off. The engine is revving, the fuel is burning, but you aren't going anywhere, and the heat just keeps building up. I remember a client with a Chevy Silverado who replaced his radiator, his hoses, and his thermostat. He was still overheating because he couldn't see that the plastic blades inside his pump had completely shattered. Number 4, radiator, fin clogging, and the hidden debris. This is a physical problem that people often overlook because it happens slowly over time. Your radiator relies on thousands of tiny metal fins to transfer heat to the air. If those fins are bent or clogged with leaves, dirt, and road grime, they can't do their job. The coolant is there, the pump is moving it, but the heat has nowhere to go. It's like trying to cool down a room with an air conditioner that has a thick blanket thrown over the condenser. Number 5 introduces us to the modern era, the active grille shutters. These are the aerodynamic ghosts that haunt modern Fords, BMWs, and Chevys. Manufacturers added these shutters behind your grille to close at highway speeds, reducing drag and improving fuel economy. It's a great idea on paper, but it is a disaster when the tiny electric motor fails. If those shutters get stuck in the closed position, your car will behave perfectly at low speeds. But as soon as you hit the highway, the engine will start to bake because no air can reach the radiator. You might have a full tank of coolant, but you are essentially driving with a piece of plywood strapped to the front of your car. This often triggers a soft code like P05T9F that doesn't always turn on your check engine light immediately. Number 6. The silent electric water pump. If you drive a hybrid, an EV, or a modern BMW, this is your primary concern. Unlike mechanical pumps, these electric versions don't give you a warning sign. They don't leak, they don't chirp, and they don't vibrate before they die. They might run at only 10% capacity or stop intermittently. This creates a frustrating ghost problem where the car overheats one day and runs perfectly the next. You can't find the leak because there isn't one. The industry has moved toward these complex thermal management systems, making it harder for the average DIYer to diagnose the real issue. Number 7 involves the most advanced tech on the road today, the multi-way coolant valves or octovalves. You will find these in Tesla's and modern Audi or VW thermal modules. These are complex manifolds that route coolant between the battery, the drive motors, and the passenger cabin. They are essentially the traffic controllers of your car's heat. A single internal gear slip can block the radiator loop entirely while keeping the reservoir full. Your car's computer might limit your performance, but it won't always tell you exactly why the valve is failing. Number 8. The airlock dam. This is a problem that often happens after you've tried to fix something yourself. Modern cooling systems are notoriously difficult to bleed. A tiny air bubble trapped in a high point, like your heater core, can act as a physical wall. That bubble stops all coolant flow just as effectively as a solid lead plug. If your gauge is spiking but your heater is blowing cold air, you almost certainly have a massive air pocket in the loop. Number 9. Chemical gelation and sludge. This is a self-inflicted wound that I see all too often when people try to save a few bucks on coolant. If you mix different types of coolant, like OAT-based DexCool with the older IAT green stuff, they can react chemically. This creates a thick, jello-like sludge that fills your radiator tubes. This sludge kills the flow. Once it sets in, no amount of flushing will ever get it all out, and you'll be looking at a total system replacement. Number 10. Internal radiator scaling. This happens when someone uses regular tap water instead of distilled water to top off their system. The calcium and minerals in tap water create a scale coating inside the radiator tubes. This scale acts as an insulator, preventing the heat from transferring from the liquid to the metal fins. Now that we've covered the failures, let's talk about the master diagnostic flowchart for 2026. This is how you find the problem without spending a dime at a shop. First, use an infrared thermometer to perform the touch test. Compare the temperature of the top radiator hose to the bottom hose while the engine is running. They should be different, but not extremes. If the top is 200 degrees and the bottom is 80, you have a massive flow blockage, likely a thermostat or a pump. Second, scan for those hidden soft codes I mentioned earlier. Codes like P1121 can point to a failing control valve long before the dashboard starts glowing red. Third, if the coolant is full and everything seems to be moving but you're still overheating, perform a block test. This is a simple chemical test that turns from blue to yellow if exhaust gases are present in your coolant. If it turns yellow, you have a blown head gasket. 2,000-degree exhaust gases are being pumped into your coolant, and no amount of radiator capacity can overcome that heat. By following these steps, you can save yourself from the industry's greed. You don't have to be a victim of a mechanic who wants to replace your entire engine because of a 50-cent air bubble. Remember, your car is a rolling supercomputer, and knowledge is the only tool that can truly keep it running. Don't let a full reservoir lull you into a false sense of security. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to share it with someone who's struggling with car troubles. We are all in this together, fighting against a cycle of constant buying and planned obsolescence. In our next video, we are going to dive into the controversial world of transmission lifetime fluids. I'll show you why that term is a flat-out lie designed to kill your gearbox the moment your warranty expires. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wrench. I'll see you in the next one.